You told us I haven't slept. I'm going to sound drunk, so I need a nap. And we're like, okay, get a nap. We'll do it later.
I stayed up until 3 something while working on my new printer that I got yesterday, 9 days early. And then I went to bed and I was so excited that I couldn't go to sleep. And so when I started to drift off to sleep when my wife's
Alarm went off
at 6 in the morning. That was when I started to drift off to sleep. You were already up and gone again.
Yeah, I was already at work, or I was showering.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm in that same boat right now, Trey. I'm just all about that 3D printer, man.
Every time I hear you guys talk about these 3D printers, I'm just like, I'm so glad I don't have this in my life. I have so many other things. No.
You have other stuff to do, man.
Yeah.
It takes it over.
Yeah, it would just be everything. All right, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gamers of all ages. It's a weird, oddly timed episode 21 of On the Button. I am Wes here with my buddies Trey and Ian, and we're kind of doing things out of schedule, aren't we, guys? Like, it's the middle of the... What?
You said they wouldn't hear from us until the new year.
No, what I said was they would hear from us only once more between now and the new year. And unless this happened and this thing happened, right? Because we said last week, like, you were like, do you want to record an episode after they do the pack change? It's like, well, let's see what they do. And today everybody was like, well, I feel like maybe we should talk about this. Like, it's kind of a big deal. We just did an episode where we spent like 30 minutes talking about it, and here they are. Mm-hmm. Here's what we're actually getting. So, Trey, Ian, I don't even think has absorbed all of this. Ian was working all day. Ian was up at stupid o'clock.
Yeah. I haven't had a chance to read the article. I have no idea what the changes are. I looked at the show notes and got a little sad.
All right, Trey.
So he like screeched into the he screeched into camera view, like sliding in and made a screech noise.
All right, so for everybody, for the listeners' benefit and for Ian's benefit, I watched the stream live. Take everybody through the short condensed version of the changes. And then we'll talk about kind of how we handled this in terms of what our wish list, what we got and what we didn't get. And then we'll talk about what we think the impact's going to be.
Well, so the first thing I want to mention is that when they said we got to have changes to the packs, there was nothing in that said we heard all the bitching about these various topics and we're changing to accommodate that. They just said we're changing packs. So
correct.
They very well could have added yet more pack. Could have been the Carbonite 2 announcement. Who knows? Like I don't know what it is. Yeah, super ultra carbonites or something. So we didn't have any. They didn't give any inkling whatsoever that this was based on feedback. And boy, did it turn out to be based on feedback. This feels like they did an excellent job, and we've commented before that they do an excellent job of listening and responding to the feedback of the community. They're one of the positives of this community and these people running the game is that they are listening and they are making changes based on what we tell them. This is not just them doing things in a vacuum. It does feel like they listened and had a conversation with the money people in the background, and they asked for 100 and they got 70, because it feels like they kind of, without saying anything, they acknowledged that we're not turning off carbonites because that spigot of money is something that we need. All right. So they did the stream today. They released a bunch of numbers and a bunch of graphs and charts. And so I went through and picked it all apart and to tell you, like, give you exactly what's going on. Like, this is what's happening when you're going to open a pack of, let me move this window over here so I can read it better. So
Give it to me, man. I'm on pins and needles here. Let's go.
So the big change, the overall change is that standard foils don't exist anymore. So if it's got a black border, it's not going to have a foil on it. And I am walking around parading, doing my little stick in the air, leading the charge. And I feel like
fist pump.
You know what? I'm gonna take credit for this one because I said this stuff back like a year ago. I was like, this is dumb. Nobody likes this. And then Ian would be like, I like this, but he's the only one.
I am literally, so I paid attention at our weekly. I'm the only one who plays with the foils.
Yeah.
I think it's because it's the first set of trading card games I played that had foils.
All the way back in set 1, the only reason that anybody played with foils is if you only owned your like a key legend, like a Vader or a Luke and a foil, and you owned it. Like, okay, you played with it because it was too hard to get another one, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, like that was it. Otherwise, and starting like 6-8 months ago when we hit the really big competitive circuit, you started having big sector qualifiers and everything, and they started DQing people for having foils in their decks. It was like, you've murdered them. They're dead now. Like no one will touch them. They are radioactive.
Right. And like as I've said, every time this comes out, this feels like they went into this game. Well, how do we want to design this? What do we want for the cool versions of this? And they saw that other games have foils, and so they made foils. It's just a box tick. It doesn't actually add anything to the collectability of the game. All right, so that's the biggest news, is that the foils are gone completely. They still have hyper foils, but they don't have the regular foils. They have also rearranged, shuffled, changed around what the drop rates of various upgraded versions of cards in both regular packs and carbonite packs, and so they kind of mixed and matched. Yeah,
and I'm going to interrupt you. If they removed the standard foil from a pack tray, what is now in the very last card in the pack?
Yeah, thank you.
It's still a foil. It's just a hyper foil now.
Shut up.
Every single one.
Every pack.
Every pack has a hyper foil.
Every one.
All right.
Hot diggity. That's dope.
Because
I'm a big booster pack guy because I want quantity, right? A lot of people buy carbonite now because they want quality.
Right.
The fact that, like, I'll open a box and I'll get maybe 3-4 hyperfoil cards to get 24 in a booster box, that's huge.
One in every pack.
That's huge.
So the changes to the regular packs is there are now more hyperspace and more hyperspace hyperfoil cards in regular packs, both in just general quantity of them that you get and how much of the more rare ones you get. So there's more rares, there's more legendaries of hyperspace and hyperfoil. So specifically, I went through the numbers, compared them what they were. So hyperspace foils have gone from one in every 6 packs to 1 in every pack. So it's a 6 times drop rate. So instead of getting like you said, 4 in a box, you now get 24. Every pack now has a hyperspace card, not a hyperfoil, but a hyperspace. Previously, it was half that. Every other pack had one. So this is doubling the drop rate of just your random mid-pack hyperspace card.
So that's just the common or the uncommon drop, right?
Now that's where they don't give you detail on that one, but I have to believe it's either that uncommon replacement or the uncommon hyperspace slot you get elsewhere in the pack. Yeah. I believe that's where they're going.
So on the drop rates of the higher rarities, so now based on, they said, in this many packs, you'll get this many hyperspace rares. So basically, if you open a box, you're going to get 2 hyperspace rares. Previously, before this, you had to open a 7th. You open boxes 1 through 6, you get 1. You open that 7th box, you get 2. Now you just get 2 hyperspace rares per box.
So you're telling me there was only 1 hyperspace rare per box before?
No, one in a case. Basically, 1 in a case. One every numbers he's basically saying.
I got 1 per box.
Basically, 1 every 3.5 boxes. Now you're getting 2 in a box.
Right.
Okay.
All right. So now you're going to get 1. This is just the rares. You are going to get a hyperfoil in every box.
A hyperfoil rare.
A hyperfoil rare in every box. Whereas previously it was every 3rd box would have a hyperfoil rare in it. So that they've tripled the drop rate on hyperfoil rares. For legendaries, you're going to get a hyperfoil legendary a hyperspace legendary, non-foil, in every other box. So if you open 2 boxes, you'll get a hyperspace legendary. This isn't increased all that much. It's only about 10% more of a drop rate than you had before. And then hyperfoil legendaries, you'll get 1 in every 4 boxes. So previously you'd get 2 in every 15 boxes. So you'd open basically, there's 6 in a case. You'd open about 2.5 cases and you'd get 2 hyperfoil legendaries. So we're slightly less than doubling the rate of hyperfoil legendaries.
Just so I understand this. So there's a hyperfoil in every pack, but it's most likely just going to be common.
Common or uncommon?
Correct.
Most
common
likely.
Or uncommon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So now, Showcase drop rate in regular packs exactly the same. I think that's the only thing that stayed the same. Showcase drop rates is exactly the same.
The 1 in 288 packs or whatever that is.
Yeah, it's one for every one per 2 cases. Correct. One for every 12 boxes.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the final change to pack is now non-foil, non-serialized carbonites are showing up in regular packs.
So plain prestige cards.
Yeah, so the level 1.
Correct.
The level 1 prestige.
Tier 1
so you're going to get
non-foil prestiges.
Nice.
So in every box, you're going to get one. Cool.
That's going to make draft a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
So in every box, you'll get one of these. About every third box will have a second one. So you have to open a box to get one. So they're going to be pretty valuable that way.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the changes to the regular pack. So no foils. That last foil is going to become a hyperfoil. And you're just going to get more. Every pack gets a hyperspace. And you just get more, like a higher drop rate on the legendaries, the rares of hyperspace and hyperfoils. You're just going to get more hyperspace and hyperfoil out of the regular packs. Okay. So it's going to increase the value of the regular packs.
In theory,
you get prestige cards.
In theory, it increases the value. That's the trick, right? So much of this still depends on them printing legendaries worth having.
That's true. But that's still true. You got to have the good cards.
But in general, you're correct. You ought to be able to get a little more value out of your packs. Now, the other thing that's buried a little lower in the article, but they specifically talked about on stream, is not coming with Lawless Time. It's not happening for set 7, but starting at set 8, which is Ashes of the Empire, and moving forward in regular packs, rare bases will now be in the base slot.
Ooh, okay.
Touchdown.
That's awesome.
Finally.
That's
so
awesome.
You'll no longer be doing competitive draft or sealed play, limited PQs, getting stuck with garbage bases in your rare slot when other people are pulling Qui-Gon legendary crap out of their stuff. So it's whatever. So that's a big change.
I sat next to somebody in a pre-release who opened 4 rare bases in their 6 packs. I mean, and it was brutal to watch.
And one of the guys, and I'll never forget this, right? This is one of those crazy pools you hear about, right? But the runner-up at the Dallas Limited PQ, this was back in September. Of course, we're doing Legends of the Force, and he ended up making it to top 8 with Cal Kestis, which is a leader that everybody is like, Cal Kestis? Yellow hero? Are you kidding me? But he pulled, out of his 6 packs, mind you, he pulled a Qui-Gon and an Anakin. Blue, and so he played Cal Kestis Blue all day and crushed people. So yeah, there you go. So really, really good changes in regular packs. Ian, now that you've heard all of that, give me like your first impression.
Oh man, the increase. Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. I know I was alone in liking the foil cards, so I'm kind of glad they're gone. Because I was dead alone.
You're not totally alone. But you are very much in the minority. I've seen a lot of chatter today online. You're right. Like that's what I'm saying. It's a very small group of people, but there are plenty of people out there that actually really do enjoy them, and that's cool. The majority of players don't. To me, the single biggest thing that does in terms of card value, you now have one entire variant of every card in the game that's going away.
Yeah, it's
gone. You never have to worry about, I've got a regular Luke and my foil Luke. No. It's either a regular, good legendary or the slightly upgraded versions of that legendary, which, as we've talked about before, should be worth more and frequently are worth more.
Art.
It's the regular foil ones that nobody wants for a lot of reasons. So anyway, but yeah, that's a good change.
I love that it's replaced with a hyperspace foil. Like that's what makes me not even care that it's gone. Like I don't even care at all. The increase so you're gonna get 2 hyperspace per pack. That's a huge increase in those boxes because you're gonna get hyperspace foil and a hyperspace card. So to me, that's 2.
Yes, okay, I see what you're saying. Yes, that's correct.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You open a box, you're gonna get at least 48 hyperspace cards
at a minimum,
which is awesome. I think amazing. I love the rare base move. I think that was a must-needed thing.
Yep.
And I like that they kept the showcases the same. Now, I hope that I don't know about Carbonite yet.
We're getting there.
But I'm hoping Carbonite gets a decrease, makes it harder to get, because it feels like I mean, that's where I've gotten all of my showcases, and I've
All
pulled
right,
a lot
then.
of them because I randomly buy them. So let's hear I want to hear the carbonite packs.
So as a good show host,
I am that sucker who gives them my $25 every week as my lottery ticket.
All right, Trey. That's a great segue. Take us in and talk us through the carbonite changes.
So carbonite does not go away. Carbonite is still here, and the pack sizes are the same.
Oh, I like it. I like them. I love the lotto ticket feel.
Fair enough.
Love it.
So previously, when you opened a pack of carbonite, you would get 1 hyperfoil.
2.
Now there are 6.
Two
in the very back.
Okay.
Always in the back.
2 in the back.
I was reading their document said that you only got 1. I'm working.
You always
off the
got 2.
document.
2 hyperfoils were the last 2 cards in the pack.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, they tripled the drop rate of hyperfoils because when you yank all those foils out, all the regular
6.
foils out, you now get 6 hyperfoils per pack instead of 2.
Okay. I'm just going to ask a question. That was all the hyperspace cards before. So I'm very excited to hear what they're going to put in the foil slots, because you said they're doing 6 hyperfoil cards. That's the entire hyperspace run from the prestige back. So I'm excited. I can't wait for this.
Hyperspace used to be 5 to 6 per pack. They've bumped that by 50% and replaced all the foils. So you're going to get 8 to 9 hyperspace per pack.
Wow. So a carbonite pack only contains hyperspace cards.
Essentially, yes. A bunch of hyperspace. Basically, it's all hyperspace, some of hyperfoil, a prestige card, and then a leader, which will be hyperspace or
and
showcase.
I guess still?
And no, there aren't always bases in those. There aren't always bases in a carbonite pack.
You're right. There's not bases in a carbonite.
There's not usually bases in a carbonite pack. There's always a leader, which could be a
leader,
showcase,
and then it goes straight to hyperspace.
And then it goes straight to hyperspace cards. So now all those hyperspace cards you used to see up front, there's simply, as Trey said, there's more of them. Then you'll get your prestige, and then 6 hyperfoils at the back of the pack.
Right.
Wow.
So the prestige slot is staying the same.
So how much did they raise the price?
Probably not at all.
Probably not at all.
It doesn't cost any more to manufacture.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And
so
is this going to happen for a Lawless Time?
Yes. All of these
we're
changes
not done with pack
starting
changes,
with
by the way.
we're not done yet. Keep going.
Oh, shoot.
He's not done with
There's
carbonite yet.
more.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Keep going.
You sit on your hands for a minute, buddy. All right. So the prestige slot is staying the same. There is still 1 prestige slot. Their graphic didn't say anything about prestige foils, but they mentioned them in the article, so I assume that's going to stay the same. You're going to get a prestige most of the time. Sometimes it'll be a foil. The serialized cards, before this, they were all X out of 250. And this is one that you mentioned, Ian, which I don't know if it's on our list later, but now some of them are 250, some of them are 100, and some of them are 50.
Nice. So probably uncommon, rare, legendary.
That's the belief.
Right. So there's only probably 50 legendary serialized of each one, and 100 rare and 250 of the uncommons.
Right.
So they're changing the rarity or how hard it is to get those. And then the final one is that showcases are becoming less uncommon or less common. Less common. So previously it was a little bit more than one out of every 2 boxes. Now it is bang on 1 showcase out of every 4 boxes. So they're having
one in a case.
Yeah, they're having the number of carbonite cases 4 boxes.
Yep. Just straight up 1 per case.
We're yanking the foils, no more foils, drastically upping how many hyperfoils and how many hyperspace there are. Serialized are going way down for the more rare ones. We think it's more rare ones. They didn't say that specifically, but it seems to match up. And showcases are getting about half as common. So they're driving scarcity with the super high-end cards and increasing availability of the regular high-end cards.
Yep. Now, the numbers that I'm going to be doing a separate video on my own channel about this probably this evening after we get done with this, because I'm going to sit down and do some spreadsheet number crunching. But one of the things, there's a guy over on YouTube called, he did a video about almost a year ago now when they announced all the JTL Carbonite stuff. His channel is called I Open TCGs. And he had all of this speculation on how large would the Carbonite box print run be for JTL. Because FFG has never stated the guarantee, like on the serialized, like we know you're going to get a prestige card in every pack, and we know that you're going to get, and if you open a Carbonite box, you're going to get 8 planes and 4 foils. But how often do the serialized cards drop in Carbonite packs? That number does not exist. It's never been stated, so we don't know.
No?
They've never announced it. Like everything else, we know it's 1 per 4 boxes, or so we have no idea how many how frequently the serialized cards are supposed to appear in Carbonite. So he basically go ahead.
Does like Magic give you those odds of getting a serialized card?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
I'd be interested in knowing that.
I'll go look it up actually while I'm making my video. But the bottom line is, so he basically made this video saying, all right, let's speculate. Let's just say you get 1 serialized every 4 boxes, 1 in a case. Okay. And so he basically said, okay, there's 9. We know in JTL there were 36 prestige cards, 250 copies of each, 9,000 serialized cards, 1 per 4 boxes means 36,000 boxes of Carbonite. Okay. And then from there, he was able to work backwards and demonstrate that was going to tank showcase prices, which he was right about, largely, and a number of other things. But the bottom line is that ability to kind of, even if you just pick a number and say, okay, this is we think this is the rough drop rate, we'll be able to now see what percentage now they're going to be pulling in the Carbonite print runs, because there are going to be fewer serialized cards to distribute, which means that the Carbonite print run will be proportionally smaller. We don't know what, 20%? 15, 35, I don't know. I'm going to run some numbers and see if I can kind of ballpark it. But it is going to be smaller. There will be less Carbonite in circulation under this new scheme.
Wow. I know you're going to put together a great spreadsheet, Wes, because that's what you do.
I'm going to take a shot at it, right? And I'll do a little presentation, couple presentation slides and stuff. But
do you as an engineer just see the math and like have to do the math? Like, do you just see it and you're like, I have to do this math. I have to find out. I must know.
So for me, this is more curiosity, right? Because I think everybody, like, I remember, and we've talked about this in the podcast before. I remember when they announced Carbonite. This is my first experience dealing with collector boxes of anything. Okay, nobody did this in the game, any other TCG I've ever played. This is my first time dealing with collector boxes. So when they announced Carbonite, I remember thinking, well, this could be really cool. These will probably sell out within 2 weeks, right? Within the first 2 weeks of a set, they'll just disappear. You won't be able to find them anywhere. It'd be like hunting rare bourbon, right? To use an example out of another one of my hobbies. And it hasn't been that way at all, right? Either the demand isn't there, or what I really think is they've printed too much. Right? Players have realized that they're not able to get the return value for their $25 a pack or their $300 a box or whatever, unless it's all internalized. I just want to make it easier for me to bling out my deck without buying singles. And so now, like, I see people selling Carbonite boxes for $150, right?
Yeah.
And that's insane.
Yeah.
So for my interest here is, if they're going to make this stuff, if they're going to make these collector products, they have to have value. Then they have to retain that value, and they have to be rare. They have to be rarer than they are now. So one of my first questions, and we talked about it on the podcast last time while we're doing this episode, my instinct was, man, just ditch Carbonite altogether. Game ain't ready for it. I didn't believe they were going to do that, but that was on my wish list. Obviously, I didn't get what I wanted. Fine, I didn't expect to. But they've done something that is at least a step in the right direction, in my opinion, which is print less of it, because that will drive up demand for the people that want it, right? It'll still be there, but in theory, it should eventually dry up, right? That's what should happen to it eventually.
Now, here's a question I want to ask, and it might be controversial, but I know that some of the serialized numbers have come up repeated.
That's just a mistake, though.
We didn't talk about that, but they had that printing error with this set. Yeah.
But just with a question to that, in my mind, that means that, are they still printing them? Like, is that like a reprint? Like, how would you print 2 of those? Like, my thought is so as a retailer and somebody who, sells this kind of, pet products, but still products for a living, you're going to sell what the customer demand is. And the Carbonite boxes are probably selling 20% less than what or 20% less than what they're printing. So they're pulling back on the print a little bit, and hopefully it does make it more exclusive. I think 250 of each serialized card is just ridiculous. I sat across Anthony, and he had 3 serialized Darth Malaks because they go for like $25 or whatever he paid for them. Right? Isn't it? Like he's got 1% of all the serialized cards in his deck that he's playing with, right? Like that's insane. Like, and
He's just dunking on people at that point. Like,
yeah, just dunking on people. Like, he played it twice against me, and I was like, bro, like, you can't, like, no, you can't. Let me see the numbers, right? Like, I'm like, I want to see the numbers. Prove me they're different. Like, prove it. BS. And then when it was over, he showed me 3 of them. So like, I like the fact that like they're gonna be rarer. I think this makes hype. I think both packs rarer. I think this makes both packs gonna really lower the price of common and uncommon hyperspace cards. If a card isn't super playable, it's gonna be super cheap because there's gonna be tons of hyperspace and hyperfoil commons out there, because it sounds like that's what they're increasing their print on to, I don't know, restabilize their packs, I guess, and make people more happy.
To make them desirable. Now it's just a matter of how much product they put out there. That they haven't addressed that at all.
Right.
It's too late.
And they're not
too
going
late for them to. But it's too late for them to not print it. But it's not too late for them to just sit on it.
Right. And they're never going to tell the general public the size of their print runs. We're never going to know that information.
Well, they might not tell us we printed 7 of these, but they have told us in the past that
we printed too much, or we printed not enough.
We printed. Yeah. Well, at one point they said they printed a lot more than every Destiny print run combined.
Yes, I remember.
It's still sold out. Yeah. So they've talked about print run size before.
Yeah, but not in terms of actual
when it's
numbers. They've never sat down and said, we printed
and they're not going to
500,000 boxes of this stuff, and you guys cleaned us out. Like, they're never going to tell you that.
You're going to do the math, right? But like, I can tell you as a retailer, like, you want to saturate that math down as much as you can to get as much profit as you can. So like, you're going to do the math and break down the X number of minimum boxes they need to print, or that you think they're going to print, and I'd increase that because they've been printing more than that.
To me, my favorite thing about this announcement, and I'll be really curious, I sent you guys, well, actually, I know, Trey, you hadn't watched it, but I'll link a video in the show notes.
I have watched it.
You have watched it.
I watched it last night.
Okay. Yeah. So the guys at Cards HQ in Atlanta, who have basically been the big support behind the 2 Seattle tournaments in March and November of this year, they were at Galactics. They were selling and buying singles. I sold Nick a bunch of singles when I was at Galactics. Great dude. So Nick made a video talking through, as a game retailer, as a TCG retailer who loves the game, look, these are my issues that we need to solve with Unlimited, right? From a retailer business standpoint, this is what's screwing me over, okay? And as I watch these announcements today, I feel like, you begin to realize, you watch a video like that, and as a player, we have different wants and demands than the retailers do. And so FFG has to try to find some middle ground.
Yes, we all want a healthy game.
Agreed. But
we want a healthy game. So if you're honest about it as a player, as much as you're like, I want everything for free, if you want a healthy game, if you're honest to yourself and everybody else, you have to say, people has to be worth it for other people.
I agree with you.
There's a push and a pull, but yeah.
I agree with you, Trey. But you and I have been doing this for 30 years. And a guy like Ian is coming from a retail background where he understands that world and the margins. A whole lot of people, and I'm not picking on anybody, I'm just saying there's a whole lot of players out there that don't have either that maturity, that experience in the genre, or that level of background that Ian has, where he can look at it and go, oh yeah, no, you got to be able to make money doing this, right? So
there's a whole lot of people out there that make the 3rd pound burger flop because 3 is less than 4.
3 is less than 4.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So
sorry, that's a anecdote from previous fast food stuff. People.
The point I'm trying to make, though, is that FFG is hearing different demands from different people, right? The retailers want one thing, the players want something different. Sometimes they overlap, but sometimes they don't. And they have to figure out where the middle ground is, where they can please, we can do this because we've got to keep the retailers in business and they got to keep buying our stuff, or we don't have a game, but we also got to keep the players happy, or they're not buying our stuff from the retailers and so on. So when I sit down and boil this whole thing down, I feel like they did a pretty good job of trying to give both camps, let's say, some things. Nobody got everything they wanted. They weren't going to. But I think everybody got an end result that, to use your verbiage, Trey, is healthier for the game, in my opinion.
I think what everybody got is an indication that FFG and Asmodee have listened and looked at this game, and even from the production side have realized that they needed to make changes, and they made changes.
Yep.
And that underlying philosophy, hopefully, I don't have any reason to believe it doesn't, and now I have reason to believe that it does, apply to other areas, like the amount of cards that they produce, that they're never going to tell us back.
It is what it is.
I mean, sense?
It does.
Okay.
There's going to be a whole segment. I mean, we're never going to know everything about this business. In terms of, there's going to be vast swaths of it that they're just not obliged to tell us, and I don't blame them. I do the same thing in my world too. There's all kinds of things that we do, to keep our clients happy that we don't tell them about, because it's just us taking care of business. So it is what it is.
Right.
Now, I will say, I hope this helps them sell more carbonite boxes and packs, because they're not sold out, because our local can still order them. They can still get.
Yeah.
I'm sitting on a bunch. I'm sitting on several cases.
Yeah.
They can still get Legends. They can still order. What's the other one? Jump to Light Speed. So they can still order those. Like,
you want to see numbers. Yep. I'm going to do some of that in this video tonight, because in my opinion, here's another thing that I realized today, that just for whatever reason it never occurred to me. The size of a carbonite print run is at least partly dependent upon the number of cards that you choose to give the prestige treatment to, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I take like in JTL, I had 36 by 250. That gives me a number of serial cards I have to distribute. I decide how frequently I want them to appear. That tells me how many boxes I have to print. But then when Legends of the Force came around, they went to 46. 46 cards they prestige.
There was 46 prestige
46
2,500 more serialized.
So now there's 2,500 more serialized. So Legends of the Force, they had to just grossly print a mountain of carbonite just to get all those in circulation at the correct drop rate. They pulled it back to 43 for Secrets of Power. But I'm also, one thing that they haven't announced for Lawless Time yet, but I'm fingers crossed secretly hoping, is that they drop the number of cards that they give the prestige treatment to back to something in that 30 to 35-ish range, right? And then on top of that, we're seeing the different rarity levels that'll also just pull the whole carbonite print run down to something that will make a lot more sense for what the game is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, all right, guys. Well, there it is. There's your changes. I'm glad. I think this is good. This is good feedback. Ian, what about you? Thumbs up?
Oh, I'm stoked.
Sweet.
Oh, so super stoked. Super
good.
stoked.
Good.
My weekly lottery ticket that I buy, that's a pack of cards. It's going to be so much fun every week.
And randomly, I forgot to mention, this is just random out of the blue. They added the same announcement in the same stream. It's probably not in the article. They're completely changing the design of the OP cards that you get every week in your little silver packs for playing in your local event. They're no longer going to have those goofy, foggy borders. They're going to look stylist. Go ahead.
They're going to look like prestige cards.
Well, yeah, stylistically, you've seen the cards that they give out at like sectors and regionals, and the way those are framed, like Galactics. They're going to look like that from going forward. Now, your weekly play cards are going to look like that. So
that's fire.
Yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
Just good changes all around. Good changes all around. All right, guys. Well, there's our quick and dirty look at the pack changes. Come into the comments. Let us know what you guys think. I want to know: are we the only ones excited about this? Do you have positive reaction, mixed reaction? Whatever, come in and let us know. Let's have a conversation. I love chatting with you guys. We get lots of good feedback on these episodes, so appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for hanging with us, and we'll see you again next week. We got to record all the ways next week to get back on our regular schedule. That should be the last one before Christmas, more than likely. All right, guys, we'll catch y'all later. Peace.